Hey everybody, welcome back to Mama Zodi Tarot. So today we are doing a past life pick a pile reading. I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while. I didn't really time each pile, so I can't say how long your pile is going to be. I apologize if one is like 10 minutes and then the other is like 30. I just kind of went with it and just went from there. So do keep that in mind. But you have four piles. Like I said, just take a really deep breath and pick the pile that you are drawn to. Don't overthink it. Just go with your first mind. We have Snooze Button Samurai, DIY Disaster, Grill Master, and retail therapy guru. So whichever one of those you think you was in a in a past life, go ahead and pick. And then I will have the timestamps in the comments for when each pile starts for you, so you can go ahead and jump to your pile. I hope that you really enjoy this reading and receive it with love. Make sure to like, comment, let me know your thoughts or any comments that questions or whatever that you may have. As long as it's reasonable and it makes sense. If you would like to book me for a reading on, your personal life or your past life, the information is always in the description box, you guys. So please, please, please read the description box. All right. I love you guys, and I will see y'all later. Snooze Button Samurai group. We're starting with the Snooze Button Samurai group. All right. Let's jump right into it. So, in this past life, you were an author. We have scribe or writer coming out here. So you were a powerful author. You have a very beautiful way with words that if you wanted to pursue some sort of writing job in this life, you would notice that you have a natural ability with it, and it would be something great for you. So yeah, you were a writer. We also have Asia and authority figures. So with this Asia card, this is telling me that, in this life, you had to sacrifice your own individuality for a greater cause, a more group cause. And this might cause you to, suppress your emotions. This had you not really always speaking up for how you really felt, always being suppressed by these authority figures, possibly dealing with cruel authority figures, and not really being able to speak up for yourself and always stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself in the way that you needed to in this life. So you spent a lot of time, just channeling how you really felt into your writing. I think with the Snooze Button Samurai, the reason why you might have picked it is because you might even be more of a homebody or inside person even in this current life, because in this life your personality was very much career focused, because we had career come out here, so you definitely focused on just always working. And yeah, literally that was your personality. You was a workaholic. You spent all your time at that desk, at that table, writing. I feel like you were very, very known with this viral video star, very well known author. People knew you, but you were not an outside cat. No. You was an inside cat. You stayed to yourself. You preferred to be inside, and that is where you felt comfortable, just focusing on your career. We also had Mule and Claw. So like I said, you was very comfortable. Could have been a Taurus in this life, somebody who was just very stubborn. I feel like you didn't like the cold. I know that's a random thing, but you didn't like cold weather. So it was like you'd rather just be inside in the warmth of your home. It says be careful, do not take risks. So you didn't even like doing risky things. You wasn't the daredevil type. You were just a really reserved, quiet, to yourself kind of person. You followed the rules. You listened to the authority. You did what you was told. And yeah, you just focused on doing your work. You wasn't into partying and celebrating with this fan. Like, I don't feel like you was really into that romance, because we had Wedge and Throne coming out right after that. So I feel like when it comes to love and romance and the person that you really wanted, you wasn't able to have that position. And because of the authorities and the powers that be, you had to listen to them. And it says someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something that you want. So most of the time, not only did you have to follow rules and do what it was that you was told when it comes to societal norms and standards, but even when it came to your love life, you had to sacrifice getting the actual romance and lover and the person that you truly wanted, because this was not allowed. This, was something about it was forbade, that you wasn't allowed to have this position. And that's what the powers that be had said. So I, of course, went ahead and asked, what was life actually like for you? And it came right out: conflict, family, faith, jealousy and envy, and soulmate. So you always wanted to have a lover. You always wanted to, have someone fill that position and be that role, and have a divine partner and live out your life and happiness together, build that family. He was always wishing and hoping and praying for it here. But the stress and the conflict and the anger was that you was never able to actually get a soulmate. You never actually could be with your soulmate. There was a lot of envy towards the type of romantic configuration or love that you wanted to have. I don't know if this is something, where it was like saying sex and it was just like totally outlawed, but whatever the case may be, the powers that be, like the society that you were living in, it was not allowed for you to have this love partner that you wanted to have. Okay, so I, of course, asked when it came to love, what did happen? We have distant future, real love, and mature men in reverse. So you got into your old age, never being able to have the actual real love, the person that you wanted. I think that you had to live the conventional life and the conventional role of being with a man and woman. That's what it gives me. That you wanted to be in a same-sex relationship, but you were not allowed to. You were told that you had to be a man, and and a man goes with a woman, and a woman goes with a man, and you grew old, in with this person, and putting the real love that you wanted way out of, into the distant future. The distant future coming out here and having to focus on just being in a conventional marriage. We also had forgiving and learning, which says, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. So yeah, it's a lot of, you had a lot of unhealed wounds and trauma surrounding, forgiveness when it comes to being able to have the love that you want, because it is safe for you to love coming out in reverse. So it was not safe for you to love this person. You were separated from this person, and you didn't feel safe with love, with this trust. You feel like you were being fake because you wasn't able to be in the relationship that you wanted to be in with this trust coming out here. So you focused on your finances and your career. Like I said, you focused on your financial situation. I don't know if that was also an issue too. I don't know if it was a situation of you was forbade from being with this person because y'all was in two different tax brackets, and you didn't have that position of authority and they did, or it was the same sex situation. It's both energies are being pulled on here. So you'll have to see what fits towards your current life, and what feels right and what makes sense, right? Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But it feels like you were not able to have the love that you wanted for whatever type of reason, and you had to separate from this person, and you were not allowed to have that relationship with reconciliation coming out in reverse. And with you deserve love and heart-to-heart conversations coming out in reverse, it's like you wasn't even allowed to talk to this person. You wasn't allowed to speak to them at all. And you felt like you was unworthy of love. It left you feeling undeserving of love, of a true love that you truly wanted. And I feel like the person that you ended up with, barely talked. It was a loveless marriage where you were just not having those heart-to-heart conversations. Y'all wasn't open with each other. It says, I honestly discuss your feelings with each other. You are lovable. So yeah, and someone from your past is returning. Remember, that came out in reverse. So all the while they was waiting on this past person, hoping and praying that they could have them, wishing and wanting for that relationship, and not able to really be happy with the love and the relationship that they had. Okay, so just having to, do things by the book with this toilet paper holder, and not being able to follow your own inner guidance and have the heart contract and the love that you wanted. So you became not really open to dating, with this dating and cleanup, not really open to love, and, because you wasn't able to actually fulfill your dream with this confusion and illusion and starseed. You didn't get the lover that you truly wanted. So that is that. Let's see about the soul contracts that you actually had in this life where you wasn't able to receive this lover. Spirit circle, inner flame, mirror of the cosmos, and beyond boundaries. So with the spirit circle, this is saying that you were supposed to meet and encounter a lot of different people that you knew from a past life. It was really like about you having a certain purpose that you shared with other individuals, and you actually meeting up with these individuals and becoming invigorated, and with this inner flame, and really igniting your own fuel to really go towards your vision and do what it is that your soul is like driving you to do, to be passionate and follow your own inner purpose and guidance, and not be afraid to even step outside of societal norms or go against the grain or go against the rules that were set here. Even though you chose to follow order and follow rules, your contract was actually set for you to do what makes you happy with this mirror of the cosmos. Do what reflects your own inner guidance and happiness, and be with the person that you truly loved and that made you happy, and acknowledge your own inner flame. All right, so that was your soul contract, but it was hard, to have to go after that. So then I went ahead next and asked, sorry, I have to go back and check what I wrote down. What you did throughout life. Twin flame, Work, labor, and efforts, boss, child, nice guy, manifestation, single, sexy, and successful, transition, and false narrative. Interesting. So like I said, you wanted to work on being with your twin flame and having that relationship with them, this person, this lover that you knew that you wanted, but you was not able to successfully have that relationship with them. This definitely had you in your feelings and in your emotions, because it seems like she had a choice. They had a choice between a boss and a nice guy, and it's like they went with the boss. They went with the person that I guess had all the money and the riches and the position of authority that you didn't have, and chose to be with them, and didn't choose you, who was the nice guy, who was the sweetheart, who truly loved them. Somehow you two were separated. You know, this boss and this nice guy, y'all wanted. It's like there was two options, and the person had to go with a different option. They couldn't choose the person that they wanted, that they were manifesting and praying to be with, and you know, so they had to go that way. And with you as well, not being able to have this person because you love them, you chose to just be single and successful until the day that you died. All right, with this false narrative, it's like you literally for the rest of your life was hoping, wishing, and praying that someday you would be reunited with this person. It's like you was telling yourself lies, like one day this person, I'm going to have them, when this love is going to come back, it's going to come back, I'm going to have them. And you just remain single for the rest of your life, hoping that this person and manifesting that this person was going to come back and be with you. But this person had moved on, and you had to focus on your work, you know, and just live out the rest of your days as, you know, a hardworking, you got your financial situation together and you was a nice guy, but I don't see that you ended up with the person that you wanted to be. If you did know this person from childhood, possibly, or you did see this person moving on and having a child with someone else, there's an element there of like a child being involved, but you weren't able to have the person that you wanted, so you stayed single. I thought you ended up just marrying somebody else and doing it the conventional way, but it seems like you chose to just be single because you couldn't have the person that you wanted, so you kind of just grew old, putting love in the distance. That makes sense now why Distance, Real Love, and Mature Man came out. You're just lonely. I'm so lonely, Mr. Lonely. All right, let's see about your death and the energy leading up to your death. Since you was just a workaholic, all focused, alone, and by yourself. So we have travel, celebrity. So like I said, you became really famous for your work and your books and everything that you was, you know, creating, being this author. We have assassination, debt, egotism, organized crime, water, boat, neighborhood, child, female, and legal proceedings. Interesting. This is a lot that came out here. I didn't even realize that. Okay. So let me look at this for a second, because I'm kind of feeling it to read it in twos, as what they're saying here. So with this travel and water, you pretty much had to move forward with your life. You know, you struggled emotionally, had a lot of suppressed emotions that you weren't dealing with, that you was keeping, you know, far off in the distance, not acknowledging, just allowing yourself to pretend like you were okay when deep down you were really going through a lot emotionally. I also feel like you felt alone, like I said, with celebrity and vote. You was all by yourself. You was a recluse. You stayed to yourself. You didn't have a lot of friends and a lot of people hanging around you. You just minded your business and stayed to yourself because you just preferred not to be around people and be involved with other people. You was steady, just hoping and waiting and wishing for this person to come back. We have assassination and neighborhood. So, whoa, this is seeming like you could have either had your life taken or taken your life in your own home. And with this debt and child, it's like you left some sort of, you know, whoa, what is this about the child and money and finances? Like I said, you were still stressed about wanting this person to come back, waiting and hoping, which is egotism, hoping and just waiting for this person to come back to you. And then with this organized crime and legal proceedings, it's like somebody took you out. Like this organized, like it's either you, whoa. So let's really quickly just get clarification on what it is that happened here. Sorry, let me go to the tarot. Tell me more about this child and this debt. What is the energy about this child and this situation surrounding snooze button samurai's death, because this is throwing me off. There's something definitely about a child and leaving something behind in some sort of money or debt. Yeah, it's like you was railroaded, but by your own child, by your own family. What the hell? Literally, it's like your death, your ending. Literally, Bristol Funeral Home, RIP. It's like it was surrounded by. It was like extortion, or like your family, your children. Somebody was looking for some sort of payout. Right? They was looking for some sort of payout with this railroad bill, and it's like someone convinced them that this was going to be a good idea, and that they should do this, and that they should take this action with this John Horse. Like, you should definitely do this. This will be a good idea. They were feeling very stressed out and apathetic. I don't know if your child was hoping to get some sort of financial payout or money from you, and you was being stubborn towards her, this daughter of yours, this female, and she was looking for, her own financial security and her children and everything like that. And it feels like even your wife, with this big mama, like, was your wife involved? This was a lot about family being involved in this with ancestors here. Ancestors, big mama, the grandchildren. It's like all of your family was involved and responsible for your death and knew about this and knew what happened and did this and felt like this was a good idea so that they can get their justice with this legal proceedings. They was looking for some sort of money, some sort of payout out of this. Anything else? Confirmation? Anything else? Yeah, like, they try to make it seem like it was an accident too. Okay, did this in secret, plotted on you in secret, and it could have literally been an actual car accident. But like I said, this happened in your neighborhood. This happened right by your own family is who did this to you, and it was an inside job. Wow. And they were looking for money. It was like they was looking for a payout. They wanted to take what you had, because like I said, you had the riches. You was good with this celebrity. You was famous. You had the money, and they was worried about being in debt. And I don't know if you said that you wasn't giving none of these people a handout, none of these family members a handout, and whoever this child was, this child specifically, it keeps going back like this child, your own baby, was responsible. Whoa. I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to get stuck, and then we'll be stuck on this reading for forever. But let's go ahead and continue and see how is this affecting your current life. That's what I went ahead and asked. So the karmic lessons: authenticity, courageous heart, open heart, and victim mindset. So you are not open to love, whoever it is that's watching this video right now. You definitely protect your heart. You keep your heart very, very guarded. With this open up, like, you have a hard time really, really letting down those walls and trusting that people want what's best for you and that they're going to take care of you and that they're not here to harm you. You definitely feel like the world is against you with this victim mindset, and they're saying that that's what's going to cause you to continue to attract negative results. As long as you feel like you're putting blame on the universe and saying that you can't be happy, then you won't have abundance. But once you take responsibility and be courageous and stand in your own truth and your power and follow your heart, even when you're not sure how it's going to turn out, then you will see that abundance starts to flow to you. You have to believe it, though, with this authenticity. It has to be true. It can't just be fake. You have to stand in your power, right? Move like a peacock at this time. Be your most divine self at all times, it says. You weren't designed to fit in. Break away from expectations and fully express yourself in your own unique way, and you'll be a magnet for success. So that's the karmic lessons that you're still currently dealing with in this current life, and what you're supposed to learn from not being able to, be free and be authentic and be yourself. It's okay to live your own life and carve out your own path. You don't always have to follow the rules and do what you're told and do what is asked of you, and always be a doormat to everybody in your life. You're carrying a lot of phobias, and you like I said, you have a hard time really opening up. I would have phobias too if I never got to fully do what I wanted and I couldn't trust people. So yeah, you have certain phobias that you're carrying about love and trust and being open. You might even vowed yourself to celibacy with this monk or nun. Wow. You might literally be out here just not even being open to love, not really wanting to sleep with somebody, just comfortable and content that you're always going to be somebody else's doormat. Maybe this is what you dealt with in childhood, being, having to, like I said, positions of authority. This was not just society, but this was your parents too, your authority figures, parents always telling you what to do, always having to do what it is that you told, not really being able to stand in your own truth and power. So now you're afraid, right? There's a fear that you carry of standing alone, doing what you want, standing up for yourself, and it's like you hide and you stay in the quiet and you stay in the dark and you just be quiet and you don't never stand up and speak up and say what you want. And stand in your truth, right, with this high priest or priestess, and stand in, even if it is unconventional or weird, or you're not the typical type of person, like, you have to stand in your power, because you have, certain psychic abilities and gifts, and those carry with you, and you have to know how to, go with your gut feeling, and go with your intuition, and follow your first mind and your gut. Really knowing how to speak your truth, and connect to your intuition is going to be the resolution to all the, struggle that you're going through. They're saying the resolution is to stop feeling obligated to other people, let go of whatever obligations you have to others, and have faith and staying true to your own self. All right. And so, lastly, I asked for, what could be some things that's going on currently in your life. We have Bishop C.H. Mason, 6 of Sticks, Son of Knives, the Big Queen, 3 of Sticks, Son of Coins, Father of Coins, and the 6 of Coins. So, in your current life, what this past life is encouraging you to do is to always see things for what they really are. Follow your first mind. Understand that you have spiritual gifts. You are a high priest. All right. You have an intuition for a reason. It's not for no reason. It's so that you always protect yourself and take care of yourself. When you see certain things in your dreams, or you get certain nudges, or the universe is pointing certain things out to you, you see all these signs and synchronicities, and you wonder, why is it? It's so that you can always stand tall, stand victorious with the 6 of Wands. Stand in your truth and stand in your power. Don't back down. In those moments where you're feeling confused and you don't know which way to go, this is how you get that clarity. All right, with the Big Queen here, that's how you connect to your higher power, to connect to your intuition and your higher self, and stand in your truth with this 3 of Wands. They just keep saying the same thing about you carving out your own path uniquely, following your guidance. Some of y'all need to start getting into astrology, putting up your spiritual altar, honoring your ancestors, venerating them, doing that type of, ancestral veneration and guidance, and tapping in with what I'm doing, your spiritual gifts and divination, and all those things. And that could be a way for you to find stability and find groundedness and find happiness within yourself, and possibly even bring you luck, bring you abundance, bring you money. But you have that luck and that abundance and that favor all with you. You have all of the gifts, the luck, the abundance, the favor. Things will work out for you, but you just have to believe in it and trust in it and stand in your power and know that you are a money tree, that you are an alchemist, that you can transform things and change them up and make them work in your way, that you can tap in with your prosperity, guys. And when you ask for the help that you need, you will receive it. Things will always work out in your favor and turn out right, as long as you believe so. You will always overcome your challenges, but you have to tell yourself and remind yourself that you are a money tree, that you are abundant, that money is always flowing to you. When money sees you in the room, it finds you, all right, and it comes to you. Tell yourself that, all right? So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that you receive it with love. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all later. DIY disaster crew, my DIY disaster crew. All right, let's jump right into it. So I can already tell you off the bat that you were an orphan in this life. You grew up without parents, because we do have the orphan card out here. And although, you didn't have your parents, I feel like what that's, suggesting about your current life is that you might be somebody who always feels alone, or always feels like you really don't have that, but they want you to know that there's always, in a spiritual sense, there's no such thing as being alone, because your true mother and father is, God, period. So, yeah, but you were an orphan. We also have persecution and inquisition, so you was definitely a spiritual root worker. People used to call you a witch. They were like, oh, that girl is a witch. Stay away from her. She do witchcraft. She do spell work. And the whole time you wasn't. You was just a good person who cared about others. And if you did use any kind of, what you did, use medicinal plants and herbs and things, it was for good usage, for health, for prosperity, abundance, for health, wealth, nothing negative. I feel like also with hunger, food and hunger, you obviously did it to literally grow food and grow crops, because you grew up hungry. You grew up not having food. You were an orphan, obviously, so you never got to have certain meals that you wanted, certain food. Like, you just grew up deprived and always, dealing with certain starvation and certain hunger issues, and not having a lot of money in abundance. And then we have imprisonment and slavery. So lastly, what this tells me is that you obviously, on the obvious part, it says slavery, you could have been a slave, but I also pick up on you being stuck, imprisoned in a situation that you didn't want to be in, that you wanted to get out of, that you were stuck in, that you could not free yourself from. Okay, so as far as your personality, we have gym rat. So you had a nice body, you like to work out, you was into keeping yourself fit, right, and tight. It was all about keeping yourself healthy, treating your body and your vessel as positively and as spiritually well as possible, because you understood that that was tied to your abundance. So you focused on taking care of your vessel, mind, body, and spirit. Netflix and chill, I feel like you was a very, very peaceful person, quiet, calm, collected, to yourself, not really rowdy, not really loud, angry, rambunctious, getting into arguments and fights, just a real sweet, sweet, angelic, peaceful person. We also have professional binge watchers, so I feel like you put a lot of your hopes and dreams on the back burner. You watched other people do the things that you wanted to do, see other people live out their best lives and dreams and their happiness, and you kind of just watched as they did it, like just like how this orphan girl was just like sitting. It'd be like kids would be playing around and you just sit to yourself all alone, just kind of feeling that loneliness and that solitude, and you really spent a lot of time with yourself, and I don't know, watching entertainment, whatever it is that made you feel comfortable, eating your little snacks, just really being to yourself and not really being around a lot of people, but also watching other people go after their dreams and their goals and their happiness. And again, it's going back to you feeling in prison, feeling trapped, feeling stuck, like you couldn't do what it is that really made you happy. You went through a lot of karmic lessons, and what this is telling me is that in your current life, you're going through certain blessings, and you will be rewarded for a lot of these karmic lessons that you went through in this past life here that we're looking at. So be prepared and open to receiving certain blessings in this life as a result of all of the karmic lessons and heartache and pain and distress and all of the things that you had to go through in this life that was hard to overcome. I feel like some of this stuff was happening behind your back. We do have love here, so I know in past life relationship that you was in some sort of love relationship with somebody who was a past life, who you knew from a past life, and I don't feel like it was good, because we have flying monkey, thief, north node, emotional pain, and hell. So it's like you made a foolish decision because you needed money with this money path, and you took some sort of bad advice from, listening to this dude, listening to this person, thinking that they was going to be the person to marry, to couple up with and be with, and this was not a good idea. This person was, I feel like, some sort of thief, like some sort of bank robber or something. Like, it really just gives this person was bad. They was out here making bad business practices, bad legal decisions. I'm telling you right now, not to be trusted. And when you went towards this person, you thought that you was getting your success, your happiness, your wish fulfillment. Like, you was finally going to have money. You wasn't going to be broke anymore. Everything was going to be okay. And you ended up at home sad every day in emotional pain because you was this unhappy stay-at-home mom who was in a relationship and a marriage with somebody that you did not want to be with, who obviously you knew from a previous life prior to that you were supposed to be separating from and leaving in the past. That's what this is telling me. But you either did not become aware of this, or you wasn't listening to your ancestral guidance. Because like I said, you was a spiritualist, you was a witch, you had gifts, so you weren't listening. You was being delusional and not listening to what was being told, because you knew better than to be with a person like this. You was getting the knowledge is what I'm getting. There's a lot of, like I said, karmic lessons that you was going through. So furthermore, we have ink pot out here in reverse. So like I said, this person was getting y'all into a lot of issues. I put y'all in a lot of problems. This person that you was married to, it says danger, especially in money matters. I can't make it up. But this bear here, he was out here being aggressive, dangerous when it came to money matters, and he was somebody very cold and very bitter with this January. Like, he was not somebody who you would want to cross. You or him could have been in Capricorn, because this is bringing up a lot of like Saturn and Capricorn energy with the karmic lessons, and you having to learn from this person, and grow and mature. And this person was doing a lot of bad things, and it was accruing a lot of karmic debt for you. And so you had that's why you came into this life, the current life that you live in right now. The person who's watching this, with karmic debt that you had to wash out and get rid of. And once you do all that, you will be receiving blessings for all of the stress and the heartache from that as well, because this person was out here doing a lot of dark stuff. Meanwhile, you going on vacations with this hammock at peace, you know what I'm saying? Taking care of the children, going on vacations, but this person did not truly love you, and they were putting you into dangerous situations with this dagger, fear, worry, sense situations, possibly always having to move, with this taking a vacation physically or mentally, always having to move, always having to leave, never being able to stay in one place, because this person was doing shit that they had no business doing, excuse my language. Always coming up with these crazy schemes and ideas with this ace of baskets. And then you needing to have to do things to protect them spiritually with this 9 of sticks. Yeah, you having to go towards your occult practices, your Bible, everything to protect your union and your family and your marriage, because this person was doing things, taking advantage with their money matters, taking advantage of people, money laundering, whatever the case may be, but then also stepping outside of your relationship and your marriage, not treating you fairly. not cherishing you and honoring you and nurturing the marriage that he agreed to be in. Treating you real cold and apathetic, not taking care of you, and you knew this, right? Because like I said, look at Miss Ida, you was a spiritual worker. You had all the wherewithal, but you were sitting up here always having to protect yourself, always having to do spell work, always having to do cleanses and rituals and all these different things on a day-to-day, because the person that you with, you can't trust them. They don't love you. They out here doing all this bad stuff. So now you got to keep working overtime with your spirituality to keep y'all good. Always having to protect yourself. You see how this woman got her gun in her Bible? Always on the move, because this person is putting y'all in intense, dangerous situations. You always on edge, always having to protect you and your children from harm. Always worried about what could possibly be coming near y'all. If somebody gonna be coming to get revenge, to harm you, take you out, because your husband was a bad guy. Yeah, you married you a bad boy, a rough rider, and he had you in some real tense situations and stressed you out. That's what this is giving. Or if you was the husband and you was the rough rider that was putting your wife through all of these situations, stepping outside of your marriage and doing all of these dark things. Wow. So yeah, let's go ahead and just, continue on to what contracts you came into this life with. Akashic record and beyond time. So right off the bat, this is telling me that you were sent from. That's why past life connection is coming out. They sent you right back into the life. So when your past life ended, you came, past life before that one, you came right into this previous life, right? Straight from there with the Akashic record. It's like you could feel it. You could close your eyes and you can go into these meditative trance states and you could see the Akashic record. You could see all your past lives. So you was a spiritual worker who had access to the Akashic record and could access past lives. You was like me, doing what I do. Looking into people's past lives, telling them what was going on. You knew that this was a past life relationship. And you knew that the time was ended for y'all with this beyond time, and it was supposed to be over. You were supposed to terminate this relationship. But you chose to, when you met up with this person with Soul Alliance, once you met them, you felt like you were supposed to continue and go with them. But in actuality, you were not. Your contract was set up for you to give this person their karma and close the cycle out and not move forward with them. A new path was supposed to be opening and unfolding for you with this gateway of awakening. You wasn't supposed to be going back to anything from your past. There was going to be a different time for you to come back and close out that cycle. But because you had access to the Akashic record, you was chasing your past life. Because you just came down, there was no gap. You went straight from the previous life, you died, and went right into the new person's belly. And started baking again to come right back into this world. There was no gap in between your past life, two lives, the life before, and then this past life that we looking at. So you were still chasing those wounds. So, we talk a lot about this and, like certain past life readings that I do. So you're just one of those people that in this past life, at that time, you had came directly into this life. So you possibly did once again, But yeah, you were supposed to be freeing yourself from that and doing what really made you happy, focusing on being a spiritualist and a root worker and going on your own individual path. And I think there was supposed to be a new love for you. You wasn't supposed to go towards whoever this past life relationship was. All right, so let's continue. I went ahead and asked, what is it that you actually focused on throughout your life? Delivery app devotee, meal prep mastermind, and social media junkie. So like I said, you was a housewife. You was focusing on being a good wife. I think you was some sort of caterer possibly in this life, where you was making meals for people in the community, serving to the community. You could have been a deaconess at the church and was, responsible for serving the food after church and things like that. But you really was just focusing on living a healthy, balanced life. Like I said, you was a gym rat. So you like to eat good. You like to eat properly. You like to promote healthy eating. You could have been a nutritionist of some sort, teaching people about how to eat well, medicinal ways, holistic eating, holistic medicine. You was all about that kind of stuff. And you devoted yourself to that your spiritual path and your holistic lifestyle. Okay, and I feel like this is what you was distracting yourself with the social media junkie. You were distracting yourself with, being a medicine woman and being a healer and being a caterer and teaching people about holistic eating, healthy eating. You focused on all of that and your earth angel qualities and the fact that you were this sweet, pure, kind, like I said, angelic person. And you was ignoring all of the abuse that you were suffering. Travel is coming up again. I feel like you went on a lot of vacations. Like I said, like your husband must have took you on a lot of vacations. But like I said, you was always moving and traveling. I knew you was always having to move and travel because this person your husband was always manipulating and doing things that he should not have been doing. And so you was always not only being abused by this person and taken advantage of and treated unfairly and being, possibly being physically abused, but definitely emotionally and mentally taken advantage of. And this person was stepping outside of the relationship, but he was also manipulating you into staying with him. Possibly, oh my God, this is so crazy. Him also doing spell work on you while you're doing spell work to keep everything together and keep the family and keep everything. He's doing divination to keep you blocked out from all of the ways that he's spreading out his love and loving other people, to make you think that he always loved you and care about you, and make you not want to block him out or want to move forward and not want to be manipulated and taken advantage of. And like I said, you was always having to travel and move state to state to state and to move around because this person was manipulative and doing dark things, and so you couldn't stay in one place. So that's what was going on. So nextly, let's go to your love, because I went ahead and asked about love. We know it ain't gonna be good. We know it ain't gonna be good. You were supposed to end it with this person, because I see surprising endings here. You were supposed to shock this person and leave them. You was never supposed to have a relationship with them and have a long-term, thing. You were supposed to heal and move on, heal from this person and open up new pathways for yourself. I can't make it up. This person was a karmic, a past life lover that you had, and your justice was supposed to be served in this life for you to move on and treat and be very cold. You were supposed to be real cold to this person, but instead you ended up in this marriage. Ice king or ice queen, when you were supposed to be a whole priestess out here. And I told you, he was cheating on you, putting you in third-party situations, with the opposition and third-party situation coming out here, damaging you, damaging your health, damaging you spiritually, having to fight in the astral spiritually against all these other dark priestesses who's doing spell work, doing all this work against you, because he cheating and messing with other witchy people just like you. Boy, this was crazy. Doing love spells. I told you, I cannot make it up. Doing love spells. Meanwhile, you over here trying to live this nice, sweet life, do your rituals, honor your ancestors, honor your guides. You doing all that. Meanwhile, you're trapped, not knowing, because you were a rich girl and you happy. You're not even accepting and acknowledging the fact that you're trapped and unhappy in this relationship, knowing that you hoping and waiting for somebody to stop being false. When the whole time it was a facade, this person was a liar, a fake, and they did not love you. They were stepping outside of this relationship. You were supposed to choose your own self and go towards your happiness and your abundance and mature and be by yourself. Yeah, the sweetheart was supposed to cause some destruction in this life and stay away, because you knew better with the intuitive Kev. You knew better than to be dealing with whoever this dude was. He had you with a whole entity attachment out here. I'm damn near reading this whole deck now, because you really knew better than to even be with this person. So what was, I asked what was going on in terms of love in this relationship. Oh, he was lustful. All right. Yo, doing spiritual, working on you, always concerned about you finding out whether or not he's dealing with these karmic feminines and will want to move on and him possibly getting his karma. Always trying to make sure you stayed in bliss and seen him as a divine masculine, and didn't want to move on from him, literally doing voodoo to keep you mentally and emotionally unstable, and not knowing that the whole time there's a lot of women out here having evil eye towards you, animosity and hate towards you. Oh yeah. And then you would get these rude awakenings. That's the worst part. When it came to love, that's what this is telling me. You would get these rude awakenings and you would be like, no, that's not my husband, that's not my man, he would never do that to me. You was just so freaking deluded and under the spell work that you really believed that this man was a good person. You were so mentally and emotionally unstable behind all of the spell work and the evil eye and the voodoo that this man was doing towards you, that you was out here having animosity towards these karmic women that was coming and telling you that your man was sleeping with them. Yeah, because they was coming to you as a woman. You knew about this. You was getting those rude awakenings, but you was out here having evil out towards these women, doing spell work towards them, trying to keep your man, saying, don't mess with my man, stay away from my man. Being dumb, doing spell work against these women when he's the lustful karmic that was out here doing dark shit. And so he had to keep doing work on you and spell work on you so that he wouldn't get his karma. And then had you doing the work for him. Had you doing the work for him. You thinking that that you just so happy and then hit the jackpot when it comes to this man, and everybody it just gotta be your husband. They just want him so bad. And you're just like, no, it just cannot be my husband. Oh no. And the woman is like, yeah, I've been sleeping with your husband, I've been waiting, we've been dating, we've been together, and you're like, no, it just can't be. I cannot make it up with release your ex and separation. You were supposed to release this man. He was an ex from a previous life. You were supposed to separate from him and release him and go towards a new love. But instead you chose to have children with him, with children coming out here, and free yourself coming out in reverse, not to free yourself and not to pay attention to his red flags. That's what you chose to do. Yeah, no. You were supposed to release and separate from this person, go towards a new love, but instead you built the family, had children, became stuck. This person was possibly having outside children. doing all kind of stuff, and you was not paying attention to the red flags that this person was cheating on you, building other families elsewhere, and you stayed stuck with this person, even though the angels did not support this, with angel coming out in reverse. Spiritual guidance, protection from harm. You didn't have that because you wasn't listening to what your ancestors was telling you. You were so worried about your money and your wealth and being happy and married to this rich guy. It says take care or there will be loss of material wealth. So this is telling me that your husband was never around. Like I said, he was some sort of shark, just making me think about Shark Tank. He was some sort of money tycoon. He's always worried about his money and his finances and his business. He was never home. And you wonder why. Because he's out cheating, out doing things, out doing other things. This is crazy. Strong arming people, like, you always have to run away from this person. So what was your death like? Lies, intuition, DEVIL, oh my God, strangulation, fire, healing, crime of passion, inside, runaway, and drugs and poison. Oh my God. Well, hotel, motel on the top of the deck. So basically, this is telling me that at some point it feels like you listen, you got some sort of intuition about all of the lies and all of the stuff that was going on here. All of how this man was demonic, he was the devil. You realize you done married the devil. And he was strong arming you and you didn't want to be stuck no more. Alright? You feel like you knew about all the rituals, all of the dark magic, all of the stuff that he was doing, and you felt like this was a disaster, this is a disaster, and you wanted to move on and heal, you wanted to move forward. And so, listen, you was like, I'm gonna run away. It was like suddenly you just decided, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna run away. I have to get away. And so your spouse, your partner, yeah, he had to do some sort of crime of passion. Yeah, it was definitely an inside job. He suddenly became real sick and obsessed and psychotic over you, which we already know because he was doing spell work to keep you there anyway. He was obsessed with you. He didn't want to see you leaving. So he took matters into his own hands and made sure that you couldn't run away and you couldn't leave. And so, like I said, he took you out. Could have been involved with some drugs and poison, feeding you something, putting it in your food, putting it in your drink. But he most definitely took you out. I'm seeing Cat, a two-faced friend coming out in reverse. This man was sneaky. He was sneaky, and you could not trust this man. All right, dissatisfaction with life. I'm telling you, you was dissatisfied with this crap cup here, and you wanted to move forward. Family wishes comes true, coming out in reverse. He was like, oh, you're not about to ruin my perfect union and my perfect family. You woke up to all of the lies, your intuition. It's like you just woke up suddenly. Your ancestors gave you the guidance. You was like, all right, ancestors, I got it. Ancestors saying that is the truth. You figured it out. And this man was like, no, you're not about to move forward from me. No, you're not about to make no healthy choices with this. Pay attention to your health coming out in reverse. This man could have been younger than you. A younger man coming out here. Sure, he could have been sleeping. Who knows? It's something about the lies. It's like it came to the light about what this man was doing. The truth of who he was. All of the business practices with this unpin coming out here. New job and career coming out in reverse. All of the shady shit that he was doing when it comes to money, how he made his money, the things that he did to make money. Yeah, you found that out. It says news of a birth or a business opportunity coming out in reverse, and you ain't want nothing to do with it. You was running far away. You was like, oh no, the ways that you come up with money when you struggling and however it is that you make your money, I don't want no attachment to that wealth. That ain't no true abundance of wealth. That's some dark-ish. Yeah, you was trying to move forward with this ladder, and this dark man, he's like, you ain't finna move forward. Oh boy, I told you, it's a dark man and then it's a younger man. He could have been younger than you, but I'm also picking up that he could have been dealing with younger men. He could have been sleeping with younger men, and you found out that he was in the closet. You found out that he was doing unconventional things, and you was trying to move forward with this ladder. You was trying to get away from it, and he was like, oh hell no. Before you come out and tell the world that I'm gay or speak this out or tell, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to kill you because I don't want this coming to light about me that I'm DL. Oh God, dark man and ladder, bro. DL, that's crazy. So yeah, you was healing. You was trying to move forward. You figured it out. You knew what was going on, and this man was like, I refuse to have you move forward. So I'm gonna have to take you up out of here. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to get rid of you because you know, and you're not about to tell my secret. You're not about to move on from me. It's just not happening. All right, so that's what we have. And then lastly, I of course asked about the, how this is affecting your current life, the karmic lessons, everything. How this is really, affecting your life currently. So we have, study, depleted, deception, self-love, and scattered energy. Oh God, then we got the I'm gonna just go piece by piece, but you're carrying a lot of scattered energy with this Ten of Wands, and you're carrying a lot of burdens with this Ten of Wands and this scattered energy. It says you have too much on your plate and have lost your focus. This is causing you to feel exhausted and overwhelmed. Prioritize your well-being and create a new plan. So a lot of times you end up depleted by these relationships. You know that trend where the girls be showing before and after a relationship, and the girl be looking all, her hair be gone, her eyes be all sunken in. Like, yeah, y'all be dealing with some real heavy spiritual warfare, and it's time for you to focus on you with this study. It's time for you to pay attention. All right, focus on your life and see how there's a lot of men, lovers, friends, people that be out here trying to have you all scattered, that be deceiving you, that be, cheating on you, sleeping around, possibly, compromising your health, giving you STIs, STDs, things like that. Like, listen, you need to choose yourself. This is what this is all about. Choosing your own self-love and not allowing your energy to be scattered and you being dependent on another person. You feeling like you need another person to help you. You've been depleted from dealing with these type of men that's always playing you, cheating on you, sleeping with other women, sleeping with other men, having outside children, having babies. You just constantly being the my man trophy wife. And if you study a little bit closer and you actually pay attention, you will find out that these men are actually deceiving you with deception. You're not seeing the clear picture of these people, and you out here giving, and you're not receiving nothing in return, carrying all of these burdens for these men. Meanwhile, they out partying, having fun with this 3 of baskets, doing whatever makes them happy. And with this Gullah Jack and 9 of Coins, like I said, these men, they be targeting you. They be the reason for your ending. They be the reason for your death. They be the reason for your unhappiness. They be the reason why you no longer living. I'm telling you. They be responsible for your ending and your death. And just like your husband was responsible for your ending in this life, this is what be happening. These men be having you carrying on top of burdens and leaving you unprotected. Having they side chicks, they lovers, all these other people doing spell work against you, hating on you, throwing evil eye, manipulation, just all kind of stuff. Manifesting bad things for you, stalking you, watching you, hating you, trying to see what you got going on. And maybe this is not the life to have love, y'all. Maybe this is just the life to stand in your own power with this 9 of Coins until someone comes along that's going to cherish you, that's going to see you for the queen that you are. It might not come early in life. It might come later in life. This might not come until, you've older and you've actually done all the work on you. You've gotten all the knowledge, done all the work, And like I said, you was a stay-at-home mom. This is the life to go out, get degrees, explore life, go see what there is to discover about yourself. Enjoy things, protect you and protect your own self with this 7 of Sticks, protect your health. Be independent, self-sufficient, get your own money with this Queen of Coins. Mother of Coins. But yeah, stand in your power as the queen that you are. This is like this past life left you you deal with constant heartbreak. Just to be honest, stress, anxiety, worry with this 9 of Swords all up in your head. Men, lovers doing love spells on you, doing spell work, putting you through all type of mental confusion, have you all out of whack. Like, this is just what you deal with. And so it feels like in this life you need to be focusing on your spiritual gifts and not letting men siphon off of your spiritual gifts and target you because they see your light and they wanna damage that light. They wanna take your gifts. They wanna siphon off of your gifts instead of having an equally yoked union with you. They wanna have you out of balance. I'm telling you, bro. Didn't I say ancestors say this is the truth? Ancestors say this is the truth. That you need to focus on your connection with your ancestors and believing in them and trusting in them the first time. When they tell you to believe in the gifts and the guidance, you like Raven Simone out here, baby. Know that you are the real life Raven Simone. And you be letting men siphon off of you and have you your chakras all out of whack and all out of balance. Dealing with spiritual illnesses, things manifesting in your life because there's people that be obsessed with you and your high honor and your status as a divine feminine. I cannot make it up. They are obsessed with the fact that you are a divine feminine and you have high spiritual status. My left ear is ringing like crazy. The feminine ancestors on your side is like, yo, we warriors, we strong, we don't play that, we don't back down. You got a whole different type of light. You are a divine one. All right, a divine feminine, and these masculines, they be seeing that. Ancestors say that the men see that, and that you be knowing the truth. You got heavy on having spiritual gifts. Your dreams, everything, it be so true. You are the real life Raven Simone, and men be coming along and trying to have you think you bugging, trying to have you in mental confusion and turmoil, trying to siphon off your gifts, have you not seeing the, thinking that you bugging and you don't know what you're seeing, that you crazy. No, you're on point. You're not no crazy bitch. You are spiritually tapped in. You know exactly what's going on here, and you are definitely. I just keep wanting to say, listen. You one of those divine ones with Egypt coming out here. You one of the originals, the Mashiach. Okay, I'm look like hieroglyphs. I'm talking about you are one of the original Egyptians. It's giving me Isis. It's giving me Sekhmet. But you are a goddess, and you have to know that and believe in that and trust in that. All right, so that's what I have for you. In this past life, literally could have been in Egypt with Egypt coming out here, but that's what I have for you guys. I hope that you receive that with love. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about it, and I will see y'all later. Grill Master Crew. Y'all, this one is a sad one. I'm not gonna lie, it's a heavy one. I pulled these cards and I was like, oh. So basically, what it looks like is in this life, you had a spouse, someone that you knew from a young age, from childhood, that you were planning to spend the rest of your days with, spend the rest of your life with. Like, you saw your whole future together with this child, courthouse and house. You were for sure that you was going to build this relationship and this family. But unfortunately, this spouse had to leave, with leaving in travel and wars and battle, coming out here and go to war. And he passed away shortly after with this distant horizon, coffin, and lovers. He definitely passed away. He was showing up as a very wealthy man. He had his money together. He had his finances in order. You were about to be set and live your best life with this man, but his life was cut short, and for some reason I feel like it wasn't accidental. I'm not going to go deep into it in this one, but there was a permanent ending that was caused to separate y'all two, and he ended up dying at this supposedly dying at this war and battle, and so you were never able to see him again. But you have very, very beautiful, nature about you, really creative, very artistic. You may have like still innate sort of creative abilities in this current life, but in that life you for sure had some creative gifts and use those gifts, when it comes to art, music, just all creative abilities. Okay, but like I said, you ended up having to marry somebody who you did love. I'm not going to say that you didn't love them with this lovers coming out here. You did find someone else to love after losing your previous lover, but you lived a more modest lifestyle, right? Like, you was on the farm, you was working hard, you was tending to your animals and your crops and all of those things. So although you still ended up in a relationship that had love, it just wasn't the wealthy, guy, the original person that you planned on ending up, that you had since childhood, that you loved and planned on marrying at the beginning. Unfortunately, he was taken out of your life. This caused you a lot of personal sorrow, but with this butterfly, you were still able to evolve and grow past it and move forward past this, not exciting event, this really dark moment in your life, and you found a new secret admirer, and things kind of, life just kind of had to go on with this February. Like, the winds continued to blow on, and you had to move on with your life because you wasn't able to get the person that you wanted, and you married a new person that you loved with this scales and ring. You found somebody else who you felt brought balance and equally yoked you, and was able to move forward into a new relationship. But with this autocorrect victim, chronic multitasker, plant parent, this is telling me that you went through a lot of stress. You went through a lot of heartache when it came to giving birth to a child, when it came to becoming a parent. And, you went through some unfortunate losses and stress and anxiety and just a lot of overwhelming things. I don't know if you were just, like I said, because you were always on the farm, you was always working, you was always multitasking. With this chronic multitasker coming out here, you unfortunately was having a hard time with this plant parent and autocorrect victim fulfilling that role and becoming a mother. And once you actually did, with this human charger coming out here, like, you finally was able to, I don't want to say like the black ball moment. You finally got that aha moment where you was able to have your child after all of the stress, the heartache, the pain, the sleepless nights, the overwhelmingness, the worry. Your child ended up passing away. That's what I got. You lost this child. The child was not there for long. They were not a permanent presence in your life. And just like the cycle with your husband leaving you, the first husband, it was like that cycle was being repeated with death. You felt sort of like marked with that energy of death on your life, because not only had you lost a lover, but it's like it seemed like everything that you loved you lost, because you lost this child as well. So as far as your personality, like I said, you was constantly overwhelmed about the fact that you were trying to become a mother. That's something that you always wanted. You could have been somebody who liked to garden, had like a garden and like to tend to your plants and keep plants in the house and be out in nature, keep a more lighthearted relationship and like a deep connection with nature and animals and things like that, which we know because he was always outside. So he was always gardening, planting, doing all of those things. He was always multitasking, always on the go, always working, never really sitting down and just planting yourself and taking time for yourself. Because like I said, y'all had to make that money. Y'all had to work. I don't know if y'all were sharecroppers out here, and it's like you would carry a baby and then you would miscarry. You would carry a baby, you would miscarry. So it was all this constant cycle of getting excited and thinking that you're going to have a baby, and then getting that rude awakening and not shocked that it's not going to happen, and the baby is not viable, or the baby is not living or something. And then when you finally do have that child, like I said, you lost them. So this caused you to become stuck with your serial killer in reverse. You didn't really know how to move forward. It's like you were just frozen in time. Never really able to process your emotions, never really able to get back to a place where you were mentally okay and mentally stable. You was always all up in your head, always stressed, always overwhelmed, just thinking like that moment, that day, it just replayed in your head every day of you losing your child and never getting to have that family. So you was having a lot of sleepless nights. You was overworking, stressing yourself out, like always distracting yourself with other things so that you didn't have to deal with the fact that you had this moment that was replaying in your head over again. So, you know, it was possibly drinking, like dealing with certain addictions, codependencies, just to pretty much get through the days and try to still be happy and act like everything was okay, when really deep down you were very unhappy and stressed over the fact that you lost your child. All right, so let's go ahead. I next asked about love. When it came to love, we have religious factors coming out in reverse very soon, getting to know each other in reverse, passion, chemistry, and healing family issues. So what this is telling me is that when it came to, you know, this partner that you had, there was one that you had chemistry with, and there was one that you had passion with. All right, the first one, the first man that you planned on marrying, that's who you had the passion with. It's like you felt like you was always going to. He got you going. He got your motor running. All right, you loved him. You felt like you was always going to be with this person for the rest of your life. That was your soulmate, your partner. You just felt like, damn, he is the one. He got you going. You loved him more than you loved anything else in this world. You felt like there was nothing that could ever come between y'all. With this religious factors coming out in reverse, y'all was always going to be together. You was always going to see this person. It says your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So you didn't care about the spiritual path. You was like, no, I have an insane passion with this person, and so I'm going to be with this person. You didn't care about really getting to know them and really knowing if whether or not y'all was compatible or y'all was a match. But you never got to have that life with them and have that future with them. So you moved on very soon, very quickly, onto someone else that you had, you know, similar chemistry with. You had a very similar chemistry with this person. You might not have had passion, like, oh my God, I'm so deeply, overwhelmingly in love, but y'all were on the same page with this chemistry, right? Y'all still had an attraction and chemistry and things that y'all was alike. Y'all was very, very similar. And so it says clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So you pretty much have to just decide, like, whether or not you want to be stuck in the past or you want to move forward and have this new family. So you chose to, you know, forgive the situation and move on. It says healing family issues. So like I said, it was something about this person being sent away to war. I don't know, you know, with trees coming out here, if your family was the one who was controlling your love life and sent this person away from you. All right. But I am seeing that, you know, you made a vow. You had a vow and you wanted to be with this person for the rest of your life. This person is in your life in this current life. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't think you know them, though. I don't think you met them. I don't think you actually know them physically. But the person is in your current life right now with this karmic relationship coming out here. Okay? Both of these people, the old lover and the new lover that you end up going towards. You have somebody that you have attraction with and somebody that you have chemistry with. Multiple soulmates and lovers that you could possibly have out here. And it's all up to whatever path you want to go down, what it is that makes you happy. Whether or not, you know, with this healing family issues, you want to forgive all of those, you know, if you are able to overcome those deeper wounds that you have from this past life, then in this current life, you'll be able to possibly interact with this person. But what I'm seeing about this past life, like I said, you have to move on to somebody who was more compatible, I would say, as far as getting to know them. Like, they was more compatible as far as what y'all had in common. But y'all never really, with this getting to know each other in reverse, y'all never really got to deepen your bond. Yeah, I think y'all kept everything very surface level. It was just like, yeah, I'm married to this person, we're on the same page, we have a chemistry, but we don't talk about all of the deeper things. And then we lost our child. Like, there was just a lot of coldness and emptiness involved in your love life, and a lot that was missing from the house because you never got to marry the person that you truly wanted. So like I said, even though there was supposed to be, you know, a lot of passion and chemistry, and you and this person did agree and y'all worked together, and it was like business as usual on the farm. It's like y'all, you just went into the end of your days never really speaking up and saying anything, just like being content, like, you know, never really taking charge with this charge coming out here, never really just going after what it is that you really want, to just being content with where your life was, because you never got the person you wanted and you never got the life and the happiness that you wanted. So you just pretty much accepted it. The contracts that you came into this life with was, you know, with universal hug and celestial wisdom, was to really embrace happiness and embrace love and embrace kindness, and have the person that you was supposed to the new person. You were supposed to embrace the unconditional love and embrace the fact that you was able to experience a second person. Not everybody gets another person to have love with. Like, not everybody gets all these different soulmates. Like, the fact that you was able to move forward and find somebody that you had a lot of chemistry with and a lot of love with, you were supposed to embrace that love from that person and know that love is unconditional. That was the lesson. You was always gonna, that first level was always gonna pass away, and you was always gonna lose them, because it was about you understanding that there's a universalness to love, that even if somebody is not physically there, you can still love them, even with your child, right? With the seeds of life, even if you bring life into this world and that love ends up leaving you one day, you still have that. You still was blessed and favored and able to have it. They wanted you to shower yourself in all of the cosmic blessings that you have, to be able to be rewarded with a second lover and build something new. Like, you were supposed to show gratitude for that, but it seems like you was just so stuck, with the past person, that you wasn't able to move forward. It's reminding me of Selena Gomez now, where it's like you were supposed to seek the answers, move forward, and understand that this was a true divine union. Be wise, like, it says all answers lie within you. Act bravely, listen patiently, and the truth will emerge. So they were supposed to discover this new truth about themselves. You were supposed to discover that you got this new love, and embrace it. Get to know them, get to know this new love, get to learn them, because you might have found out that this person had a lot of similarities to your past person. That maybe just so your past person sent this person directly to you. This was their way of giving you a universal hug and embrace, was to shower you in the blessings of having a new life, planting a new seed with a new person that you can continue to grow and build with. So that's what you were supposed to do. You wasn't supposed to end up stuck in the past, worried about the old lover that you never got with this very soon. It's like the very soon, it almost feels like you just couldn't decide and choose them, even though you was in this new marriage. You never fully reassessed the situation and took charge and chose to have this new beginning in this new marriage with this stand your ground. And because y'all suffered that loss, you felt like it wasn't meant to be, right? Like, it was just kind of like, and you just felt like the loss was all you was going to experience. Okay, so yeah, with this, I asked, what did you do throughout your life? So we have message of concern coming out of reverse: privileged lady, mature man, despair, concern, sudden wealth, and mature woman. Yeah, you was constantly worried about you was constantly in despair and concerned about the sudden wealth that you missed out on. That mature man, that man that you were supposed to grow old with, how you supposed to be this privileged lady. It's all you was worried and concerned about all the time. It was like your main focus. Thank you, ancestors, for the confirmation, because I'm like, I feel like you was distracted. Yeah, you was constantly distracted, worried about the fact that, I was going to be this rich girl, I was going to have this husband. It's like you was always concerned about that past lover. You wasn't able to just fully be at peace and happy with this new man and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like, not everybody's life is supposed to be this big, huge. That wasn't the life for you. That was not it. This was supposed to be you, being connected with the divine, being in your spiritual nature, focusing on God. And God was telling you that less is more sometimes. Success looks different to everybody. You were still a privileged lady. You had a man that treasured you, that loved you, that wanted you to be happy and wanted to give you your flowers and take care of you for the rest of your life. And you grew old with this man, but constantly was in despair, constantly worried about the past, constantly worried about what it is that you did not receive with this concern and message of concern. And then, like I said, in despair over the child that you lost with this message of concern. This child that you lost, it definitely stifled you. But you grew old with this person, you grew old with this person. You just was still so steady focused on your past. Yeah, I'm seeing unsettling times, need to plan ahead. So, you had your up and downs, your rough patches. Everything wasn't always perfect. Of course, when you live in a farm life, everything is not going to be perfect. It says seek information that will help you, but it's coming out in reverse. Exactly. It's like you didn't want to get the wisdom that God was trying to give you with this spirituality and religion and biblical coming out behind that. God was trying to give you this wisdom and let you know you're supposed to be a medicine woman. You're supposed to be a spiritual worker. You're supposed to be happy to, live that type of life where you're gardening and you're planting and you're helping your community with this dream catcher. Like, that was the dream. That was the ultimate wish fulfillment and dream that they were trying to give you, for you to be the medicine woman. Again, here's coming out with this older lady. You were supposed to be the medicine woman. The little old lady in the neighborhood that everybody trusted, and you had your spiritual love, the person, you might not have had a huge fortune or great fortune coming out in reverse, but you wasn't doing anything against your will with this club coming out in reverse. You wasn't doing anything dark. Right? With this moon, you wasn't doing anything demonic. Yeah, you might have had ups and downs and changes and obstacles when it came to your life, but you never, with this handshake and knot, you never had to do anything dark. It says a meeting with a stranger could be important in unsuccessful plans. So you felt like because you never got, because you had to start over, you never got the love that you have from the past, you felt like that's all you had to be consumed with, but you was being given a chance to live a new life and be happy with this new person and move forward. Yeah. And do the healing work necessary so that you could be happy and, you know, just look, like I said, be the simple old. It gives Baba Yaga energy. That's what I want to say. So look into Baba Yaga, because that's the energy that you had. You had that Baba Yaga energy where you're supposed to be out delivering food and medicine to everybody in the community and everything like that. Like, and just being happy and content with the fact that you was like a local like vendor, or like, what do they call those people that work in the marketplace? Like a dang, I don't want to say I can't think of the word I cannot think of the word. Y'all tell me in the comments or the word that they use for like people who be artisan. There's something about artisanal, but I can't remember the exact word. But let's go ahead to your death. So we had alive in reverse, mind control, fake death, home, abuse and neglect, death, couple, beach. Oh my God. It's like you was so, with the mind control and the fake, you was so focused on all of these things that had happened to you in your past, and like the fact that you never really got to live out the life that you want. You felt pretty unhappy towards the end of your days. Like, yeah, you know, you died at home with your husband. Like I said, y'all grew older and matured together, and you died, you know, with your husband in your home, safe and sound. I feel like nothing really was going on, or nothing actually happened to you, but you were so focused on those that you had lost in the past. You felt like death was surrounding you. It was like, oh my God, am I still alive? Why am I still alive? Like, this is really the energy of like a suicidal energy of like, why am I still here and still alive? You just was ready to go. You were so ready to just be out of here. You were just hoping that you could not wait for death to come and take you. It's very unfortunate. But I think that you lived a long, old life. But your mind was always consumed of the thoughts of death, and feeling like death was all you could attach to. Everybody that you truly loved died. Every lover you wanted, your children, everything that you truly loved, it died and left. It went away from you with this beach, and you could not stop thinking about all of that pain and that suffering and that abuse that you feel like you suffered. You felt chained. You felt stuck. You felt like this was like karma, like a bad karma, a bad chain of events that was unfolding in your life, that was always happening. Like, why did this happen to me? And so yeah, you was always thinking about that until the end of your days. And I feel like I said, you and your husband died together at home, but shoot, you was about ready to go. You did not want to live no more. You was definitely miserable and unhappy. I feel like you was going through certain physical ailments as well. Looking at this, a lot coming out of reverse, your health was definitely not good. You died from some sort of illness. You was heavily going through illnesses throughout your life. Like, and I guess that's why you couldn't keep the baby. I don't know what that was about. Like, it seemed like, I don't want to go too deep into it because we only looked into this one past life, but it feels like it was some sort of karma for some sort of karmic lesson that was playing out from your past life. Like I said, you were supposed to be moving on and getting a new love anyway, but because you didn't just end up happy with this person, you just died miserable. And not happy for the blessings that surrounded you. With this 10 of coins, it's like they gave you your legacy. You had grandchildren, you had all your family all around you, but you were still all up in your head with this 2 of swords. Strength in reverse, unhappy, going through illnesses, weaknesses. You was weak in your body. You died from some sort of illness with all of your family around you, your children, your grandchildren. But for some reason, this was not enough for you with this 2 of wands. You was in a totally different place. You was so ready to go and so ready to travel to the afterlife. Yeah, you was ready to move forward. Because it was like the person that you wanted to manifest in the blessings, the life that you wanted, you never got to have it. So you were just this miserable, bitter Betty. It's very unfortunate. You was real miserable and unhappy. And I'm sure that rubbed off on your children here with this daughter of coins coming out here. But this is crazy. 2, 2, 2. 2 of knives, 2 of sticks, and 2 of coins. So that's the 2 of swords, the 2 of wands, and the 2 of pentacles. So you never felt like you got to have the life that you wanted to live. You never felt like you got to make the decision that you wanted to make for yourself. And you never felt like you had the financial stability. You felt like you was always juggling with your finances. You never got the stability and the security that you was looking for. You wanted to be that rich girl and you wasn't. You was always struggling to make ends meet, but the abundance that you had was the family. The 10 of Pentacles, you had the family. That was your abundance. You were supposed to be happy with the fact that you were surrounded with all of your children. Excuse me, not, well, I mean, obviously you had grandchildren. So you had a living child. There was a child that passed away, but you had a living child. Thank you, ancestors, for the confirmation. Yes, you had a child, but you couldn't even be happy for that. You couldn't even be happy for that. You had a son that had passed away. Thank you, confirmation. They just told you had a son that had passed away, but you had a daughter. It was just that the bloodline didn't carry on. That's what it was. And your daughter possibly was going through certain things and miscarriages and not able to extend. But you had family around you. You didn't lose all of your children. You still had children. Thank you, ancestors, for the confirmation to make me clarify that before I closed out the reading. It's not like you lived out the rest of your life just unhappy. Well, you lived out the rest of your life unhappy due to your own choices to be miserable and bitter and unhappy, but you didn't live out with no children. You had a lot of family around you. You had a lot of family around you. There was a certain child specifically that you lost, and there was the first love, and it was the old life that you wanted that you didn't have, that you were still so worried about and connected to, when you still ended up having a very abundant and happy lifestyle. Even if you was making ends meet and you were struggling financially and your family still didn't have all the money, y'all had each other. Y'all was operating from love. That was the best thing that you could have, was family and love. So you got to learn to show gratitude. That's what I'm already picking up for in this current life. Yeah, acceptance, release judgment, choice, and pause. It's already saying it. How is this affecting your current life? Learning to, it says, yeah, you already, listen, you struggled making a choice and sticking with it. It was a lot about decision making. You know what I'm saying? With you not feeling on the same page with people, you're not feeling, yeah, there was a lot. 222 it's heavy here, angel number, but it was all about you making a choice and just sticking to it and not being of two minds all the time. Just making a choice and then sticking to it. And then being happy with the choice that you made, and then being able to move forward, knowing how to take a pause and understand that and accept that this life is what you have, so you got to make the most of it. You got a choice. Either you could be unhappy, you could still be focused on the past, or you could release the judgment for what your life is and be happy for what you have. Everybody is not meant to have $1 million and be no big celebrity or be in the spotlight. Some people are just going to live a quiet life alone on a farm in nature and, all to themselves. But you have to learn how to release judgment and be happy for what it is that you have. Release judgment towards yourself and others, everything, so that you can see the world with fresh eyes. You could actually be happy and see the abundance that's all around you, and accept when God is sending you in a new direction and moving you forward, and not trying to cling and be stuck to a past that he's setting you free from, because it's just not meant for you. All right. We also have heart contract, universal harmony, and inner guidance, and river of destiny. So yeah, bro, I didn't even see this over here. Look at this, Celtic. So this is telling me, like I said, this is a lot about you being a medicine woman, going out in nature. You can have Druid ancestry, Celtic roots. All right, Irish Celtic. So look into this. Look into the Druid, and the Druid symbolism. Look into nematoma. What else did I want to say? There was something else that I wanted to say about this Druid, and about you moving forward and being out in nature and being a medicine woman. There was something else about you, being happy that you were still able to be abundant and have that life. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, it was like God was giving you a chance to be happy, have healthy decisions, and he gave you, with this wisdom, it was like you were supposed to be happy and acknowledge what it is. Acknowledge that your life was good and you had something that was beautiful for you, but instead you chose not to. So they're saying in this current life, be smart, be wise. All right, be smart and be happy for what it is that God gives you. Always show gratitude for your abundance and your health too. If you're going through any sort of health issues or things like that, they're telling you to make sure that you pay attention to your health and take care of your health, because it's coming back to your health issues and the things that you went through in your past, your body. All right, miscarriage, things like that. So they're saying to make sure that you take care of your vessel and take care of your body. Okay, so we also have heart, like I said, heart contract. So you have a heart contract with somebody. It feels like it could be the new person, it could be the past person. However the case, there is someone that you have a soul contract with that you're in harmony with and in balance with, that will be coming into your life, and you're supposed to be moving forward and open up a new destiny with this person. But you got to trust in that inner guidance. All right, you got to believe that this is a person that's from your past life that you have a soul agreement with and a bond with, and your intuition already knows this. And it's like, don't stay, even if you're currently in a relationship right now, I'm telling you haven't come into contact with this person yet. So you thinking your love life is over right now, if you're in a relationship or you married, listen, baby, I'm here to tell you that there's somebody else. All right, you're going to be experiencing two soulmates in this life. You're going to get a second soul. You're going to be experiencing somebody new that you're going to have a real bond with. It's not just settling for somebody that you're okay and happy with, but you're going to get the person that makes your loins go. All right, they get you going. They bring up all that fire and passion. So expect to experience that in this current life. And that's how this is mainly the effect that is happening on your current life, is that you're supposed to be smart, make wise decisions, and be open to a new path and opening up to a new lover. All right. I do also have calling in your soulmate, codependency, and playfulness. So you might be feeling a little bit codependent. towards this person, or always hoped and wished and dreamed for you to have this person, and they telling you to remain positive, remain playful, allow that inner youth, that all of those childhood dreams of yours to come about, and continue to call in your soulmate. It says your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So like I told you, you ain't met this person yet. You have not, and they will be, the more that you call them in and visualize them, they will be drawn in closer to you and coming into your energy, and it's going to be very beautiful, cheerful, and playful. So that's what I have for you as far as your past life reading. I hope that you receive it with love. Okay, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Retail Therapy Guru Group, my Retail Therapy Guru Group. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so in this past life, I am seeing that, unfortunately, you had a situation of unrequited love, where you wanted to marry somebody, and this person that you was expecting to marry, you were not able to confirmation marry, because the message that was sent was that we marry people of the opposite gender. You're gonna be a woman, you're gonna marry a man, or if you are a man, you're gonna marry a woman, and that's who's gonna be your official person. All right, with this official person coming out here with male female adjudication, it's like you went and married a person of the opposite sex and did what was conventionally expected of you, because that was, what was expected, and that was the message that was sent by the society and where it is that you live. We do have Native American out here. So with this Native American coming out, it's letting me know that not only was, the love unrequited, but possibly the reading that I did on Holly Berry would be significant to you. All right. So I don't know, let me look up the birthdays real quick, because I did see what is this, July and June is here, the 7, so July 28th, 222, so February 22nd, February 8th, July 30th. We're gonna have to see, because I feel like Halle Berry's reading with the Queen of Clubs is significant. But I'm gonna have to really quickly look up Queen of Clubs birthdays, because your birthday might be one of these days. I knew about the 28th. Could have been born on the 28th, the 30th, the 7th, the 2nd, or the 22nd. But we got January 28th, February 26th, March 24th, April 22nd, they go to 22nd, May 20th, June 18th, July 16th, August 14th. That's what it was for Halle Berry. September 12th, October 10th, November 8th, and December 6th. So if you got one of these birthdays, then, I feel like check out Halle Berry's reading, because it's significant about, being she was Native American, and she was in a marriage, and she was DL because she secretly wanted to be with somebody of the same gender, but she could not, because this was not accepted. So she had to pretend that this was an unrequited love. And it's same gender. It could be 2 females, 2 males. But I am picking up with female being out here, main female, that is 2 men that want to marry, but you were expected to marry a woman, and that's what you had to settle for. But like I said, it could be the opposite way. Put the roles where it goes. You know how it's going to fit for you, and you had to, be married this official person, because that would make you in high honor. Like, you're only supposed to marry somebody of the opposite gender. Like, that's the only thing that they accepted and respected and would consider as official. It was not legal to do anything outside of that. As far as your personality, I did see mansplainer extraordinaire. So you were very vibrant, very loud, very out there, not afraid to not afraid to argue. All right, that's what I get, is that you could be a little bit argumentative. But with this trust and faith and transportation, it's telling me that you definitely had some sort of issues when it came to spirituality and believing in God, because it's like, I don't know if I really believe in all that, because or whoever it is that you followed when it came to being Native American, I think you had some reservations, no pun intended. Oh my God, you had reservations while living on the reservation. That's crazy, about spirituality and about going after all this, because it's like, if that's real and that's true, then why can't I openly be in the marriage and in the relationship that I want to be in? Right? So you feel like God was pretty much, where was God in your life if you couldn't do what truly made you happy? You felt like you was living a lie, you wasn't living your truth. You always wanted to move forward, with this transportation, get away, go somewhere where it would be safe and it would be okay to be happy and live the type of life that you wanted to live with the lover and the person that you wanted to live it with. So yeah, you just kind of wanted to scream it to the rooftops. I think you was some sort of activist. Like I feel like you was out for reform and change, and you was kind of speaking about like progression and how the times are changing and people is moving and everything is not so black and white. Like not everybody wants to be with someone of a different gender. Like just trying to get them open to seeing things from a different perspective and not being so one track minded. And you weren't, because you weren't. So I think you was trying to motivate the people in your society and where you live to get on the same page with you. I want to say tribe, like you wanted those people to understand where you was coming from. Drama queen, so definitely very dramatic person. I did say, like I said, you was aggressive, you was loud, you was not afraid to get aggressive, whether you was male or female. You was not afraid to buck and rock, so buck at somebody. So bucky, like a mechanical bull. Maybe not kidding, but let me stop because I can get into these shit like crazy. But yeah, it's like you saw things from a different perspective, and you was unique. You had your own way of going about things. I feel like you was definitely somebody who had layers to you with this tech wizard. It took a lot to get to know you. You really had to spend time to actually get to know your true personality. Like you didn't let people know who you really was. I feel like you was adaptable. You could always switch up however you needed to be to fit for the situation and wear whatever. Not mask, but you had a duality about you where you could be whoever you needed to be in order to feel comfortable and be around a group. Like, I mean, that was your whole life, was you wearing a mask and being false and pretending that you weren't who you were, because that's what you had to do when it came to your love. Like you felt like you was living a lie. Literally, you was pretending, and you had a lot of emotional baggage and weight that you was carrying that you was not acknowledging. Okay, but this also tells me that you were a very perseverant person. You knew how to overcome obstacles. You knew how to maintain strong and persevere even when things weren't going in your way. You just fought it out. You just accepted it, and you kept living. Even though it wasn't going exactly the way that you wanted it to, you just stuck it out. But definitely carrying a lot of emotional weight and baggage. We also had Finger. So, like I said, with Finger and staff, it's like you always knew that you was going to be taken care of in, difficult situations. Even though, like I said, you had some sort of issues when it comes to your faith and your trust in God. You knew that was real, and you knew that he was helping you to overcome certain obstacles, but you didn't understand why it was that you couldn't be with the person that you wanted to be. But your ancestors were obviously saying that you should have made that choice. You could have made that choice, I feel like. But we're going to see. But yeah, so I feel like you was always taken care of whenever you went through difficult situations. I feel like, with this official person, if you were on this reservation, you was in high honor. Like, I feel like that's why it was such a big deal. Your family was a part of like the legal council or whatever. So you really didn't want to have all eyes on you and have people pointing the fingers and like have your family be victim to like judgment and things like that. So yeah, it's like you really just, with this valley, it's like you really wanted to go after what you wanted. You really wanted to go after the love you wanted, but you couldn't. You had to just maintain a peace and a strength and just act like everything was cool, calm, and collected. I can't make it up with Teapot. Deep friendship with someone of the same sex. Forces working against you with Axe. It was forces telling you that you could not be in a relationship with somebody of the same sex. And so you felt like that was always the missing piece with this barrel. That was the missing piece. Something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. You never had the love that you truly wanted. Like I said, summertime is significant. Summertime is significant because we got June and July coming out here. But mainly what I'm picking up is that you never got to do what you felt like was right. You never got to spread your wings. I like it right away. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. You never got to really do what it is that you wanted to do. You had to listen to whatever these people was telling you with this parrot and turkey. Right? They was always talking to your family. They had so much to say, and they said that you would not be doing this. Right? It said someone is behaving stupidly. So they was like, you're not gonna be making this decision. This is stupid and this is foolish, and you cannot do it. And so you always felt foolish for not really doing what made you happy and going after what you wanted. Let's see about the actual soul contracts that you had. Serenity within. Yes, to choose your peace, to choose your happiness. It's like you was always in this state of aggression, this state of anger. You was always on edge, never really happy, just always begrudging, walking around with an angry face, like you never really was happy because you never got to do what you wanted to do. So you couldn't have really found peace. You went through a lot of mental unrest, right? When you were supposed to be finding that serenity within, that peace within. And with this cosmic alignment, you were supposed to know that the power lies within you. You have the choice to go down whatever path you want. Okay, it says inner outer consistency. So you needed to match up that inner and that outer unity, harmonious resonance. You wasn't doing what truly made you happy. You wasn't in alignment with your higher self and your truest self, because you was pretending that you was straight when really you was not. You was queer. You obviously wanted to be in a same gender relationship, but you were pretending to be straight and having to marry somebody that you didn't even really want to marry, just for the sake of appearances and what was not socially acceptable at the time. But you were supposed to be choosing your own path with this spiritual rebirth, embracing a new version of yourself, starting over, not being afraid to, even if it meant traveling and leaving your home and going somewhere different where you would be accepted. You were supposed to have the love. This was with this fair man. You were supposed to have that relationship. That's what I'm picking up on. This was supposed to the balance that you were supposed to get. And with this portal of mystery, it's like all of the stuff that you was afraid of. You was not supposed to be afraid of what you didn't know. A portal to the unknown calls you. Embrace this mystery to discover new opportunities and profound revelations. So you were supposed to just go after it, even though it was scary and you didn't know how people was going to react. You were supposed to still choose to be in that same-sex relationship, have that love that you want, and just embrace it. Open up that, do it scared, do it afraid, do it not knowing how it's going to turn out, knowing that you're going to be taken care of and that God got you. Like, it was like you were so afraid and you were supposed to open Pandora's box. All right, even if you didn't know what you were unveiling and what lied on the other side, you needed to stay in balance and in harmony. And because you weren't, you was out of whack emotionally, because you wasn't on your path. Your inner self and your outer body was fighting. Right, your physical body and your mind, everything was not aligned because you wasn't doing what really made you happy. Okay, I asked what were you actually focusing on then? Social battery drained, meme lord, and toilet paper hoarder. So, like I said, you was a part of, your family was a part of whatever the council was. Y'all was high up. So you was focusing on continuing that, being in that role of honor, and making sure that people respected you, people honored you. Definitely felt drained when it came to your life. Like, you felt like everybody was taking advantage of you. You wasn't really doing what made you happy. You was all over the place, being used, promoting, your family's agenda and doing what it is that they said, not really doing what made you happy, just in a loveless situation. Like, you just, there really was no love where you was. Okay, it was all about you being in this high position with this toilet paper hoarder. It was like you had to make sure that you didn't step out of line, make sure that you didn't your shit don't stink. Like, everything needed to be pristine and perfect when it came to your life, and you trying to keep up this image of I'm just A-okay and I have everything all wrapped up tight the whole time. You were overwhelmed. Yeah, I knew it. You was in a marriage that you was unhappy with marriage pathway and poverty. This was draining you. You felt like you was in despair. You was in loss. You was in poverty, having to work on this with this toil and labor, having to do this, having to fulfill this role and have this job, be a part of the like I said, the Native American, I don't know what these people have, y'all. I don't know the name of it. Excuse me, I don't know the name. I don't know if it's a council, if it's a whatever, the government. You was part of the government, all right? You was part of the Native American government, and you had to focus on that job, and this was bringing you a lot of sadness. You was not happy in this marriage because you wanted to be in the same gender relationship. You felt stuck. You felt imprisoned and trapped here. You was going through a lot with this journey, always having to, it's a lot about transportation and traveling, so you possibly had to go on certain journeys, exporting, importing with these ships here. I feel like you followed in your father's footsteps with this father here. Yeah, you was a male in this life. You was a male. Well, whatever, excuse me, let me not say that because they just corrected me. Whatever you are now, that's what you were, and that was what the gender of the person was that you wanted to be with. So if you're a woman right now, you was a woman in that life and you wanted to be with a woman. If you're a man watching this video, you was a man in that past life and you wanted to be a man. That's what this is telling me. You was turning your back to the other gender. You did not want to be with that, but you had to. You was forced to. And like I said, you was always working. It feels like with this transportation, ships, and toil and labor, it was like you whatever you was doing, you was on the go. You was involved in travel, having to move constantly, going places. I don't know. Like I said, if it was importing, exporting, but you was always on the move. You was always on the go. And like I said, you followed in your father's footsteps. All right, whatever it is that your father was the one who you listened to, who guided you, who told you, this is who you didn't want to disappoint. Who's most likely. He was a father from a previous life, let's just say that, and you didn't want to disappoint him, and that was a big deal for you. Following in his footsteps, taking over his inheritance, doing whatever this you inherited from him, the job, you had to follow in his footsteps and do that and continue it. And so that's what you chose to do. Like, just do you inherited your dad's job, his role, everything, and so you had to keep up with that. And all the time I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep holding these and not just saying them all the time. You had a man or a male on your thoughts, or if you was a woman, you had another woman on your thoughts. This is what I am getting. You was forever, always, constantly thinking about this person that you secretly wanted to be with, but you was trapped, pretending that you was happy, living this life that you know, where you felt like you was out in the cold in poverty, not really doing what made you happy. I don't know if you know, with this journey, like I said, you was when you traveled, you saw this person. If you had to have secret meetings or whatever the case may be, where you had to go away and you had to, meet up with this person in private, which is 1010 showing up here. But either way, it was one of those situations where you never got to have that person. So you was really unhappy, living a lie. You was in high honor, but it was a lie. It was a facade for you. You definitely didn't get to be with the person that you wanted to really be with. Yeah, discord amongst friends or family. It was a lot of chatter in discord amongst you and your friends and family because you didn't want that family. I'm seeing carrot. So yeah, opportunity or windfall. Listen, it's making me think of rabbits. I don't know. I feel like when you was away, you couldn't do it while you was around your family, but when you was away, you was meeting up with that person. All right. Let's go about your death now. You got life insurance, suicide, hotel, motel, road, fraud, cover up, hidden, wooded area, party, and mountains. So I don't know if this happened on one of your travels or one of your trips where, you was off, right, at a hotel motel with that person, having your little time, spending your little time. But if with the, you was being a fraud, you was pretending, you was wearing a false mask, pretending it was hidden in plain sight, though, that you was going and having meetups with this person. This is confirmation. Up towards the end of your life, you was having meetups with this person, going behind closed doors to meet up with them because you felt like you had to. You just couldn't be away from this person with this wooded area and mountains. It's like, yeah, you have to go in secret and meet up with this person, yeah, and for y'all to party and have fun and sleep together and do all of that stuff. But this is how your life ended up coming to an end, though. This is how your life ended up coming to an end. I don't know if you committed suicide because you didn't want you ended the road because you didn't want this to come to light with the life insurance. You didn't want your family to find out who you really were, or if this had already come to light with this hotel. Listen, hidden and cover up. It's like, I feel like this came to light and you killed yourself to. You committed suicide for entertainment purposes only. My psychic download to avoid the stress and the karma and the sadness and facing all of the darker stuff that you was doing, the way that you was possibly going down a dark road, possibly committing acts of fraud towards towards your own government, embezzling, whatever it is that you was doing. There was a lot that you was hiding. You had a lot of secrets that you was trying to cover up, but I feel like it was coming to light, and so you wanted to avoid all that. So all of that stuff that you was doing when you was off partying, having fun, sleeping around with other people of the same. I feel like men. Like, I just feel like this is for a man that's reading, y'all. Or it doesn't matter if you were a woman, you was a man in this past life, and whatever you was off partying and having fun and doing, you wanted to cover it up. You still wanted to have this, you kind of wanted to leave with this life insurance. It's like you didn't want to take that dark reputation. You didn't want to take that reputation. You still wanted your family to be okay. Like, I don't know, with just committing suicide. We have November. So, it could have happened in November. We have Apple, temptation will bite you, coming out in reverse. Marriage, seahorse, family matters, success, victory, and some endeavors coming out in reverse, and good news. So, yeah, this is what I'm saying. I feel like with this, it came to light. It started to come to light about what it is that you was stepping outside of your marriage and what was going on between your family, and you wanted everything to be okay. You didn't want them to be known in low honor and to lose everything, and so you felt like the best way for everything to be successful and for everything to work out was for you to leave. For you to go away, for you to end your life, for you to not be here no more, because you couldn't avoid this temptation. You could not. That temptation bit you. You bit that apple. I don't know if this person was born in November, they was a Scorpio, but you bit that apple and you couldn't stay away from this person. Okay? And because of that, I feel like it was coming to the light, and you ended up feeling with this. You was scared about what they found out, and them hearing about this and knowing about this and knowing that your family knowing that you was in a same-sex relationship and you were stepping outside of your marriage. So you just went ahead and ended it by committing suicide and getting rid of yourself. That was really, really unfortunate. That you just didn't want to face everything that was happening, all that was going on at the time. So you just chose to get rid to end your life because you just couldn't face it anymore. That's sad. But let's go ahead and continue to how this is affecting your current life and what's going on. Oh boy, speak up, find a lesson, protect, follow your passion and break free. So the lesson is for you to speak up. I don't know if you're currently dealing with the same situation in this current life where you're part of the LGBTQ community, you queer, but you don't know how to break free and stand up to your family and tell them the truth and say, hey, listen, but you're supposed to find a lesson from this past life. All right, and know that it stopped you in your tracks. It was supposed to help you grow so that you can speak up and be honest and break free from the past and say, listen, I have to protect my own happiness. I have to protect what makes me happy. They said this card came out of reverse. Oh, okay, well, it's like you didn't know how to protect yourself and choose yourself. You always wanted to give to others and do whatever made other people happy, but they're saying to set boundaries between you and whatever family members or whatever other people you feel like will misjudge you. Break free from that. Follow your passion. Go after what sparks your interest in your heart. If you know that you love somebody of the same sex, then you can love them. It says if there's something that excites and motivates you, it's a message from your Akashic record that it can lead to your abundance. Don't silence it. So your Akashic record, this past life, is affecting you in your current life. That's why you have all of these feelings of wanting to be with somebody of the same gender, because this is already something that you wanted to do that was stifled in your past, and you're being given a chance to speak up. Be honest with yourself. Live in your truth. All right, it's okay. It is okay if you are somebody that likes somebody of the same sex. They're saying that, yeah, this could be the one, true love and flirt. Listen, go after what it is that makes you happy. Whoever you choose to flirt with, who you sleep with at night, who you go to bed with at night is nobody else's business. But you can't harm other people in the process, right? You got to be honest. You got to be truthful with this flirt. You got to be willing to do it out in the open. You can't try to keep this and hide people and harm people and BDL or do anything, like that. You got to be honest with yourself, or choose to be in the same, be in a relationship that you know is not true love and is not making you happy. They're saying that you already met your soulmate, which is this could be the one in this current life. You already met your soulmate, but you pretended like it's not true love with that person because they of the same gender as you. You pretended like you can't be with this person because this person is of the same gender, when it's like it don't matter. Nobody else should judge you and who you love. Yeah, you being given a chance to have a new beginning. Literally, they telling you to, yes, go towards the marriage and the happiness and the wish fulfillment that you want, even if it's a man and you're a man that's watching this right now. I don't know, you could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or have those placements in your chart, but they're telling you to stop looking at things from, rose-colored glasses. You got to look at things from a bigger perspective. You keep feeling like you got to live for other people, make other people happy, do what's going to make other people happy. No, you need to do what makes you happy. Stop pretending like you're okay when you know you're not. Stop pretending like everything is fine when you know it's not. You know you're not happy. You know what you want. And what's so crazy is you in a glass house. That's what they telling me. Other people see it. Other people already know that you like people with the same gender. So why is you even faking it? You think that, oh God, some of y'all just don't even know. Some of y'all just don't even know. It be so obvious. People be looking at it and be knowing. It's people that know that you, so it's like it doesn't even matter. Don't worry about how anybody else feels about it, how it's going to look to anybody else. Don't worry about what your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your grandma, anybody got to say. You got to do what makes you happy. They telling you this is angelically guided. Move forward towards this family, this marriage. You already know this person. Like I said, you already know this person. So you need to stop being in denial. Free yourself from whatever it is that's been holding you back from this person. I feel like you ended it with them. If y'all did have a relationship, or if you did, you stopped being around them. You closed out that cycle because you was afraid. You freed yourself from that cycle because you felt like, no, that's wrong. I can't like somebody of the same gender. I can't like, and they saying that that's your true love, and you should go back and be with that person because it's okay to go after what makes you truly happy in this current life. All right. So stop pretending like that person that you denying of the same sex that you love. Stop pretending like you don't love them. Free yourself with this Eight of Swords. Be happy. Live in your truth. Be you can still be a man. You can still be a leader. You can still be courageous, and nothing about it makes you less of a man. Just to like men. And nothing, if you're a woman who tends to feel more heavy in your masculine energy with this Father of Six, it's okay. It's okay to be more masculine and feel like you want to have a woman in your life that you take care of and protect and honor and serve. Like I said, you might have been a man in this past life, and that's why you feel that way. You tap more in with your masculine quality. So don't feel, resentment or shame or guilt for loving who you love and wanting to be with who you want to be with. I really am urging whoever's watching this to go be honest with that person, because that person wants to be with you too. All right. So that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed and receive it with love. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Love you.